Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy is all like, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more f***ing lame. And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stock? No, Kathleen Kennedy.
If you thought South Park had mellowed out with time, think again. The creators are back with their signature style, loud, sarcastic, and brutally honest. And this time, they're taking aim straight at Disney. And let's be real, Disney has had a pretty rocky ride lately. With every new attempt to remake its classics under the banner of inclusivity, the company has faced growing criticism.
Now, Rachel Zegler is a terrible choice for Snow White. Nothing about her says Snow White, and that's even leaving aside the fact that she openly detests the story, as she's said many times during this disastrous PR campaign.
While some fans appreciate the effort to modernize, others see it as a calculated PR movie. Instead of heartfelt updates, Disney's remakes often come off like they're ticking boxes on a corporate checklist. From changing characters' races to rewriting beloved stories for modern audiences, Disney has been accused of stripping away the heart and soul of its timeless tales. That's where South Park comes in, always ready to jump into cultural chaos and hold up a mirror to society.
She's not white, but she should be. Snow White needs to be white.
This time, they set their sights on the entertainment industry's obsession with virtue signaling, especially when it comes to the legendary Star Wars universe. But in their latest satire, the real target is Disney's upcoming live-action Snow White remake. And at the center of it all, Rachel Zegler, the actress cast as the new Snow White, who's been caught in a storm of controversy since day one. From the moment Disney announced the new Snow White, the internet was skeptical. People started watching every move the studio made like it was a car crash in slow motion. First came the casting of Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress. Many applauded the decision for its diversity, but others were puzzled after all. The original Snow White is famously described as having skin as white as snow. It was a bold move that lit a cultural spark. But that was only the beginning. The real fire started when Disney revealed they were rewriting major parts of the original story. Out went the prince, the romantic storyline, and even the 7 dwarfs.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
In their place came CGI-created characters that looked more like glitches from a video game than charming companions. Disney claimed it was all about making the story more in line with today's values, more progressive, more inclusive. But audiences weren't buying it. The changes didn't feel inspired. They felt forced, and it showed. Enter Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the minds behind South Park.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
As usual, they saw the perfect moment to jump into the chaos and turn it into comedy gold. In their special episode, Joining the Pandaverse, they lit Disney's new approach on fire, no holding back. And poor Rachel Zegler, whether she meant to or not, handed them all the material they needed. She wasn't just part of the movie, she unintentionally became the face of its failure.
I got okay. Ma, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman. Oh, not again. Yeah.
When you're given the chance to play a role as iconic as Snow White, the usual approach is to be gracious. Show love for the original, honor its history, and win over fans with charm. But Rachel did the exact opposite. In interviews, she laughed at the classic storyline, called the Prince creepy, and basically said the original film was outdated and weird. Then she told anyone who didn't like the new version that they didn't have to watch it. Not exactly the way to win hearts and minds.
You think it's perfectly normal that Cartman is suddenly a black woman?
You probably don't like that Indiana Jones got replaced by a female either, huh? Probably have a problem with Black Spider-Man, too.
To top it off, she hinted that the male lead scenes might not even make the final cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, she said casually. It was a PR disaster in slow motion, and South Park didn't even have to exaggerate. The whole situation was practically a ready-made script. In the Joining the Pandaverse special, Eric Cartman wakes up in a world where he's been replaced by a woman of color. He panics. The school is in chaos, and the kids are totally confused. Then PC Principal shows up, smirking as he mocks their confusion.
Kathleen Kennedy is down on set right now, ruining the new Bambi movie.
Any diverse woman in it, make it gay.
Bambi's a baby deer.
Fuck baby deer, put a chicken in, make her gay.
He throws in jabs about how Indiana Jones was replaced by a woman and Spider-Man is now black, clearly referencing the ongoing debates around Hollywood's current trend of race and gender-swapping legacy characters. The episode didn't tiptoe around anything. It targeted everyone. The studios, the actors, the executives, and even the audiences who either blindly accept or harshly reject every change. Nobody got off easy, and that's what South Park does best. It pokes fun at all sides, highlighting just how ridiculous things get when we take ourselves too seriously.
You were telling us about the South Park thing?
Oh my god, dude. Jamie, have you seen the new South Park?
I definitely saw clips of it.
It is so funny. First of all, Cartman has been replaced by a black trans woman.
They even took direct aim at Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm, who many fans blame for mishandling the Star Wars sequels. Online reaction was huge. Elon Musk, Donald Trump Jr., and other right-wing commentators praised the special. But it wasn't just conservatives laughing. Even people who support diversity in film found the episode uncomfortably accurate. Meanwhile, some liberals couldn't help but point out the irony of Cartman being portrayed as the voice of reason. This is the same character who once served a kid his own parents in a bowl of chili. Yet here he was, making more sense than some studio executives.
About the stereotype. Right. This is about roles that were made for people of my stature that don't have the chance to go out for other roles normally.
Back in the real world, Disney was already in hot water. After massive backlash, they quietly hit the brakes on the Snow White remake and went back to filming. Their big change? Reintroducing the dwarves after previously removing them in favor of CGI creations. Those CGI characters had already sparked outrage, especially among the dwarf acting community, who felt overlooked and ignored in a role that historically could have offered real opportunities. Photos of the digital dwarves leaked online, and fans were horrified. They didn't look magical, they looked creepy. Instead of the friendly, whimsical charm of the originals, these characters looked like something from a low-budget fantasy game. Disney had tried to blend technology with nostalgia, and the result was an uncanny valley nightmare. The memes came fast. Social media lit up with jokes, edits, and side-by-side comparisons of the new dwarves next to horror characters. The film's reputation, already shaky, took another hit. And Disney, clearly rattled, shifted to damage control mode. Instead of the usual flashy premiere events, Disney decided to keep things quiet. There was no major Hollywood red carpet, no grand European gala. The film debuted with a soft screening at El Capitan Theater and a muted event in Segovia, Spain. They even released a promotional clip, Spend the Day with Rachel Zegler in Segovia. But it felt more like a distraction than genuine marketing. Look at the scenery, not the reviews, seemed to be the message. For a movie with this much drama behind it, such a quiet release spoke volumes. It looked less like a celebration and more like a retreat. And with good reason. The bold reimagining that was supposed to redefine a classic instead became a full-blown PR mess.
How much does this cost? They should get Doge looking at this movie. They spent $250 million making that movie.
Fans and critics alike pointed out that the remake lacked the heart of the original. Disney had tried something similar with The Little Mermaid. While that film also sparked debate, it stayed true to its story. Snow White, on the other hand, seemed like it was trying to erase everything people loved about the original.
And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
And it wasn't just the film that people criticized, it was Zegler's attitude. In her interviews, she sounded less like someone excited to retell a beloved story, and more like someone who wanted to tear it all down. That rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way. As one film editor put it, trashing a Disney classic is basically cinematic blasphemy. Disney doesn't just make films, they sell memories. Childhood dreams. When the lead actress doesn't seem to respect that.
This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself. I'm sorry.
Zegler went even further. She proudly declared this new Snow White wasn't waiting for a prince. She wanted power. She wanted to lead. She wanted her own kingdom. In place of the iconic "Someday, My Prince Will Come," came a new anthem about self-love, ambition, and independence. While the message may resonate with some, to others, it felt like Disney was replacing one extreme with another, cutting out love and fantasy in favor of empowerment buzzwords. As things spiraled, rumors began to swirl that Disney tried to get South Park's parent company to soften the episode. But South Park doesn't play by those rules. The roast went ahead, and it hit hard. Then came opening weekend, and it was a disaster. Zegler reportedly went to the movies with her close friends for a night of celebration. But when they arrived, the theater was almost empty. Whether it was a private screening or just a lack of audience, the visuals were brutal. Rows and rows of empty seats. One of her friends posted about it on Instagram, shouting her name during the credits and trying to keep the energy up. But it was awkward. Rachel smiled and tried to play along. But you could tell it wasn't the night they'd hoped for. Worse still, she stood there holding a bouquet of flowers. Not from Disney, not from fans, probably just a kind gesture from friends trying to lift her spirits. Because the box office definitely wasn't celebrating. With only $3.5 million made in Thursday previews and a bleak $43 million weekend total, the movie flopped hard. For a film that cost over $250 million to make, it wasn't just a loss, it was a major embarrassment. To put that in perspective, The Little Mermaid earned $95 million during its debut. Even Dumbo, which didn't make much of a splash, managed to earn almost the same amount with a much smaller budget. Now, social media is flooded with images of empty theaters and lonely screenings. People are joking that Disney needs a GoFundMe just to break even. An old video of Zegler surfaced where she confidently said she hoped audiences would line up to see her films. But that line never formed. One user summed it up perfectly. "Welcome back to reality, princess." Others dubbed the film Snow White and the Seven Flops. And conservative commentators like Ian Miles Chong jumped on the moment, calling it the worst performing Disney remake in years. Sadly, it's hard to argue with that. Between the huge budget, fan backlash, clumsy marketing, and an awkward press tour, this version of Snow White never had a real shot. Whether this is just a temporary rough patch for Disney or a warning sign of something bigger remains to be seen. But one thing's clear, when you strip away the fairy tale and try to replace magic with messaging, you risk losing the very charm that made people fall in love in the first place.